As night gently falls and the world grows still, heaven opens a sacred space for those who seek more than just comfort. They seek miracles. In this divine silence, we turn to Saint Anthony of Padua, the gentle miracle worker whose name echoes through generations as a refugee for the desperate and the broken-hearted. Tonight, he reveals what few have truly understood: 5 sacred secrets that unlock the power of answered prayer. These are not just words. They are divine keys, secrets that restore what was lost, bring light into darkness, and call forth blessings that seemed out of reach. Each one carries a grace uniquely designed for your life right now. Saint Anthony is inviting you into something rare, something holy. Stay close, because missing even one of these 5 secrets could mean missing the breakthrough you've been praying for. Beloved Saint Anthony of Padua, we come before you with hearts shattered by loss and souls heavy with worry. You who have been called the finder of the lost, the helper of the hopeless, the intercessor of miracles, we ask you to stand beside us tonight. Whisper into heaven our desperate cries for healing, for financial breakthrough, for family restoration. We bring before you the prayer that works instantly, not because of our worthiness, but because of your unwavering faith. Shine your light on those trapped in despair, and let the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony unlock the impossible for us now. We believe something sacred is about to be revealed, one secret at a time. Saint Anthony, your name is spoken when hearts tremble with fear, when cupboards are bare, when a loved one is lost to confusion or grief. You have brought back what was stolen, restored what was shattered, and lifted the poor from the depths of debt and desperation. Tonight, we place our trust in your powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, not as a superstition, but as a holy weapon of hope. If anyone can hear us when we feel abandoned, it is you. If anyone can speak to God on behalf of our impossible requests, it is you. Let your urgent miracle prayer move through this video like a current of divine fire. We ask you, Saint Anthony, to walk with us through each of the 5 sacred secrets that follow. Help us uncover what has been hidden. Help us believe again. Make this unfailing prayer to Saint Anthony the moment where everything begins to change. Tell the soul watching not to give up now, because the blessing they've waited for may be just one secret away. Help us see the invisible hand of grace moving through this prayer. For those who stay until the end, we believe a miracle today will be released into their lives, and what was once impossible will become testimony. The lost things are never truly gone. There is something sacred about loss, how it strips us bare, revealing what we once held close and now miss with every breath. Saint Anthony knew this deeply. That's why the first secret is this: what you thought was lost can still be restored. Whether it's a missing object, a fractured relationship, or a broken part of yourself, the prayer to Saint Anthony becomes the bridge between despair and divine recovery. His name has echoed across centuries because he brings back what the world says is gone. But here's the truth: Heaven never loses what matters to you. Think about it. How many things have you quietly grieved? Not just physical objects, but dreams you buried, friendships that faded, opportunities that slipped through your hands. This is where the powerful prayer to Saint Anthony for desperate cases meets you. You are not forgotten. Your loss is not ignored by heaven. And Saint Anthony's miraculous prayer is still restoring lives today, one whisper at a time. We often carry silent burdens, the guilt of words we didn't say, the regret of chances we didn't take, the ache of not knowing how to fix what broke. Saint Anthony's first secret invites us to stop pretending we're fine and start praying like we're desperate, because sometimes we are. And in that vulnerability, in that tear-filled moment, heaven leans in. The prayer that works instantly isn't fancy, it's honest. And honesty is the language Saint Anthony understands. This is not a myth. Testimonies pour in from around the world. People finding not just their keys or wallets, but themselves. A woman who found peace after a decade of silence with her sister. A man who rediscovered his sense of purpose after praying for a second chance at life. These are not coincidences. These are the fruits of a powerful Catholic miracle prayer that still echoes through the halls of heaven. But you must dare to pray boldly. Saint Anthony doesn't respond to doubt. He responds to faith. When you say the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony, do it like someone who knows the lost will return. Declare over your situation that nothing is too far gone. Not your joy, not your marriage, not your future. Speak the unfailing prayer to Saint Anthony, as if the miracle is already walking through your door. Have you ever looked for something and found something else you didn't know you had lost? That's how this works. You might pray to find your peace and instead receive healing. You might ask for money and be given wisdom. That's the beauty of trusting this prayer for financial breakthrough. Saint Anthony doesn't just restore things, he restores people. And sometimes what gets returned is better than what was lost. This secret also teaches us patience. Miracles don't always show up in the form we expect. You might pray and still wait. But during that waiting, something shifts. You change, you grow. You start to trust not just the prayer, but the one who listens. That's where Saint Anthony walks closest, right there in the delay, whispering, "It's not over yet." Some people think faith is about never losing anything, but true faith is about knowing where to turn when you do. That's why Saint Anthony's prayer is different. It doesn't promise that you won't face loss. It promises that you won't face it alone. And when you bring that loss to him, his intercession becomes the light leading you home. The first secret is this. Heaven remembers everything you've lost, the missed chances, the broken promises, the empty places. And through Saint Anthony's intercession, you are invited to believe in the impossible. The impossible prayer that works isn't just about things. It's about the parts of your soul that long to be whole again. And healing is holy. So tonight, speak the prayer to Saint Anthony for family restoration. Speak the healing prayer to Saint Anthony. Speak the emergency prayer for financial help. Speak them with the confidence of someone who knows that nothing holy is ever truly lost. You're not just calling back an item, you're calling back peace, joy, identity. That's the first secret. What is lost can return, but you must ask. Because the next secret reveals something even deeper than restoration. It's about what happens when the miracle begins to move. And you're not just a seeker of hope, you become a vessel of it. The miracle begins the moment you let go. We hold on so tightly, don't we? To the outcomes we want, the timelines we demand, the fears we secretly nurture. But Saint Anthony's second secret is this: the miracle begins the moment you let go. Not when you control every step, not when you figure it all out. The blessings you long for are often waiting just beyond your grip. Faith doesn't require clenched fists. It asks for open hands. Letting go isn't easy. It feels like surrender, like failure, like giving up. But in Saint Anthony's life, surrender was the very act that unlocked heaven's abundance. He let go of fame, comfort, even control, and was filled with wisdom and power beyond measure. If you want the prayer that works instantly to take root, you must release the need to control how the answer comes. There's a reason we struggle with surrender. It feels unsafe. We're taught to be strong, to push through, to make things happen. But God's miracles don't respond to force. They respond to trust. That's why the unfailing prayer to Saint Anthony is not just about speaking words. It's about believing without demanding. It's about saying, "Lord, your way, not mine." Let go of the timeline. Let go of how you think the healing should happen. Let go of expecting the financial breakthrough to arrive the way you planned. When you pray the emergency prayer for financial help with open hands, Saint Anthony can begin to intercede freely. What you release, heaven can replace with something better. Think of it like a seed. You don't get fruit by squeezing the seed tighter. You get it by placing it in the soil and letting go. You trust the process. That's what this secret is about. Plant the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony like a seed. Don't dig it up to see if it's growing. Just water it with faith. Let it be. That's where the miracle begins. Have you noticed how peace comes only after you surrender the fight? The anxiety, the sleepless nights, the frustration, they loosen their grip the moment you say, "God, I trust you." Saint Anthony stands beside you in that moment. His Catholic prayer for miracles is powerful because it aligns your spirit with heaven's rhythm. And in that rhythm, things begin to move. Many people mistake letting go for weakness. But it's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's saying, "I'm strong enough to stop pretending I can do this alone." When you offer the prayer to Saint Anthony for desperate cases, let it be a holy release. Let it be your way of telling heaven, "I'm ready to receive, not resist," because open hands receive faster than clenched fists ever could. There's also healing in release. Some of the pain you carry is attached to expectations that never came true. Let Saint Anthony lift those from you. The healing prayer to Saint Anthony isn't just for the body, it's for the broken places inside that ache when you think about what should have been. Give that grief a voice, then let it go. You can't move forward while dragging the weight of yesterday. That's why this secret is so important. Saint Anthony wants to guide you into freedom. But first, he needs you to drop what no longer serves your journey. When you pray for a financial breakthrough or family restoration, make room for God to surprise you. Let him write the ending. Some people think faith is about never letting go, but real faith is letting go again and again because you know who's catching you. Saint Anthony's prayer is a leap into grace, not blind, but bold. Each time you release your fear, your plans, your need to be in control, you step further into the miracle. And Saint Anthony walks right beside you. Try this. Tonight, speak your prayer aloud, then imagine handing it over, like placing a fragile treasure into Saint Anthony's hands. Picture him walking it to heaven for you. Say, "It's yours now," and rest, because that's when grace does its best work. When we stop trying to force the door open and instead wait with trust as it swings wide. Because the next secret isn't just about letting go, it's about watching the heavens respond. It's about recognizing the signs that your miracle is already underway, even if you can't see it fully just yet. Intercession is the bridge between you and the miracle. There are moments in life when we can no longer pray alone. When the pain is too deep, the fear too loud, the silence of heaven too heavy. That's when intercession becomes our lifeline. The third secret of Saint Anthony is this. Miracles often begin when someone prays for you. And Saint Anthony is not just someone. He is the patron of the desperate, the voice of the broken, the advocate of the forgotten. Intercession isn't begging, it's alignment. When you ask Saint Anthony to intercede, you are not trying to twist God's arm. You are stepping into a divine partnership where heaven hears twice, once from your lips and again from the faithful heart of a saint who knows how to speak directly to God. That's what makes the unfailing prayer to Saint Anthony so powerful. Saints are not far-off legends, they are living intercessors, and Saint Anthony's prayers have crossed time and space to bring help to millions. From lost rings to lost children, from impossible debts to emotional healing, his intercession has become a spiritual rescue line. You're not bothering him, you're inviting him. And when he prays, God listens differently. There's something humbling about asking for help. But humility is holy ground, and miracles love to grow there. When you pray the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony, you are admitting your need and opening your heart to receive. Pride builds walls. Prayer builds bridges. And Saint Anthony's intercession is the strongest bridge you'll ever walk across. Many people think they need to have perfect faith for their prayers to work, but here's a truth Saint Anthony teaches. You don't need perfect faith, just a willing heart. He meets you right where you are and adds his faith to yours. You may feel weak, but when Saint Anthony intercedes, you're covered by centuries of unstoppable belief. Have you ever felt like your prayers bounced off the ceiling? You're not alone. That's when Saint Anthony steps in, not to replace your voice, but to amplify it. He takes your whispered prayer for desperate cases and echoes it into the throne room of God with boldness and authority. You may feel small, but you are not powerless, not when Saint Anthony prays beside you. Imagine walking into a courtroom and having the most trusted advocate at your side, someone who knows the judge personally, who has already won countless cases. That's what praying with Saint Anthony feels like. He stands in the gap. He knows how to present your heart to heaven, and he never grows tired of doing so. The prayer to Saint Anthony for financial breakthrough is not a last resort. It's a spiritual strategy. It's not about luck. It's about leverage. You are not alone in your crisis. You have someone lifting your name before heaven every time you speak his. This is how burdens become blessings, when we allow the saints to carry them with us. There are people who feel unworthy to ask for help, especially divine help. But Saint Anthony's life was marked by mercy, not judgment. He was known for his gentleness, his compassion, his love for the poor and wounded. So when you call on him, know this: you're not interrupting, you're being embraced. When you pray for your family to be restored, for your debts to be erased, for your soul to find peace, you don't need to do it alone. That's what this third secret invites you to remember. Miracles are rarely solo events. They're born in the soil of shared prayer, of sacred partnership between heaven and earth. And Saint Anthony is the bridge. Even when you can't find the words, Saint Anthony understands the language of tears. He speaks fluent heartbreak, fluent fear, fluent hope. So don't wait until your faith feels strong. Start where you are. Let him meet you there. That's when the prayer for urgent help becomes more than a cry. It becomes a key. Each time you invite Saint Anthony into your prayer, you are enlarging your reach. Your voice alone might tremble, but with him it thunders. Intercession magnifies your prayer's impact. It calls in reinforcements. And in a battle this big, you deserve all of heaven on your side. Let him fight for you. Because the next secret is not just about prayer. It's about surrendering your deepest battles to God's will, and discovering that letting go doesn't mean losing. It means winning in a way you never imagined. The power of surrender unlocks divine alignment. We've been taught that strength means holding on, pushing through, and never backing down. But Saint Anthony reveals a holy paradox. True spiritual power is found in surrender. This is the fourth secret. It's not about giving up, it's about giving over. When you surrender what you cannot control, you make room for God to move freely in your life. Saint Anthony helps carry what your hands were never meant to hold. Surrender sounds like loss, but it's actually alignment. It's shifting your battle into heaven's hands. Think of how children sleep best in the arms of someone they trust. That's what surrender feels like. Safety, rest, and trust wrapped together. When you pray the unfailing prayer to Saint Anthony, you're saying, I believe your way is better than mine. We often bring our needs to prayer, but still clutch them tightly afterward. That's not surrender. That's worry with a spiritual disguise. Saint Anthony invites you to actually release the burden. Whether it's a financial crisis, a health issue, or a fractured family, your surrender is a signal of trust. A signal that heaven responds to quickly. Have you ever prayed and still felt anxious afterward? That's a sign you haven't truly let go yet. Try this. After you pray the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony, say out loud, "It's in your hands now, Lord." Then imagine Saint Anthony taking that prayer and lifting it into divine light. Picture your fear dissolving in God's perfect timing. The emergency prayer for financial help is not just about getting money, it's about releasing panic and embracing peace. When you surrender the outcome, your spirit can breathe again. Your faith gets stronger. You begin to trust the God who sees the entire picture. That's when miracles start flowing without obstruction. Surrender also means letting go of your timeline. We often demand that God move by Friday or fix it by next month. But surrender says, even if I don't know when, I still trust you. This kind of trust doesn't come from emotion. It comes from a decision. And Saint Anthony stands beside those who choose faith over fear. Let's be honest, we often fear surrender because we fear disappointment. What if God doesn't come through? What if nothing changes? But Saint Anthony gently reminds us that surrender doesn't eliminate pain. It gives purpose to it. What feels like delay is often divine preparation. What feels like loss is sometimes protection. Sometimes we surrender something only to watch it return better than before. A relationship restored. A job offer even greater than the one we lost. A sense of peace we didn't even know we were missing. That's what this impossible prayer that works does. It transforms what we release into something richer than we imagined. Surrender is not a one-time act. It's a daily rhythm. Wake up and say, "Today I trust." Lay down at night and say, "I let go again." This spiritual posture unlocks blessings you didn't know were possible. Saint Anthony's Catholic prayer for miracles aligns your heart with heaven's heartbeat, and suddenly everything changes. We often want miracles without movement. But surrender is your movement. It's your step of faith into the unknown. It's trusting that even the closed doors are part of God's yes. It's believing that even when nothing seems to happen, something sacred is unfolding. The surrender is the miracle in motion. Some days you'll need to surrender the same thing over and over. That's okay. Saint Anthony is patient. He walked this road too. He knows the struggle of letting go, and he knows the glory of what happens when you finally do. You're not alone. Each time you pray, he lifts you a little closer to peace. Try surrendering not just your problems, but also your solutions. Let God surprise you. Let Saint Anthony lead you somewhere unexpected. The prayer to Saint Anthony for family restoration might return more than you asked for. It might bring unity, forgiveness, even new beginnings. That's the beauty of divine alignment. Surrender doesn't mean passivity. It means active trust. It means living as if your prayer has already been answered, even if your eyes can't see it yet. That's bold faith. That's spiritual maturity. That's the kind of heart that Saint Anthony rushes to help. Because the next secret isn't about asking or letting go. It's about walking boldly into the miracle you've already prayed for. And that kind of courage is what sets the final secret apart from everything you've experienced so far. Walk like the miracle is already happening. There comes a moment when you must stop praying as if and start living as though. This is the final secret. Walk like the miracle is already happening. Don't wait to see the evidence. Choose now to believe that Saint Anthony's intercession has already reached heaven and that heaven has already begun responding. This is faith in action. This is how miracles move from the invisible to the undeniable. Imagine waking up tomorrow with peace, even if your situation hasn't changed yet. That's spiritual maturity. You're not ignoring reality. You're trusting in a deeper truth. The prayer that works instantly becomes most powerful when it's followed by steps of faith. Miracles aren't just sent, they're walked into, step by step, word by word, belief by belief. Saint Anthony teaches us that waiting doesn't mean worrying, it means preparing. If you've prayed for healing, start treating your body like it's being restored. If you've prayed for a financial breakthrough, prepare your budget like increase is already on the way. That's how you walk in expectation. That's how you partner with the answer before it even arrives. Faith is more than a feeling, it's a decision. It's choosing to act even when your emotions say otherwise. It's declaring that God is working even when nothing seems to move. When you walk with Saint Anthony, you walk differently. You carry peace. You speak with confidence. You live like a person who knows the outcome is already being written in heaven's ink. There's power in anticipation. It shifts your atmosphere. It confuses fear. When you walk like the miracle is already happening, darkness loses its grip. The enemy can't discourage a believer who rejoices before the answer. Joy becomes your declaration of victory. And Saint Anthony walks right beside those who live in that kind of trust. Start thanking God in advance. Praise Him before the door opens. Celebrate the restoration of your family before they return. Speak life over your finances before the check clears. The prayer to Saint Anthony for financial breakthrough becomes magnetic when paired with gratitude. Gratitude pulls the future miracle into your present reality. Many people pray but remain paralyzed by fear. But bold faith is faith that moves. Saint Anthony doesn't call us to be passive. He calls us to walk forward. Think of the blind men who followed Jesus, or the woman who reached out for his robe. Their miracles came as they moved. That's your call now. Don't just believe, move like it's already done. Walking in miracle faith also transforms how you speak. Stop saying, maybe it will happen. Start saying, I'm ready when it does. Your words have power. They build faith or they drain it. Let every sentence be soaked in expectation. Let your mouth prophesy the miracle you've been praying for. Let Saint Anthony's prayer reshape your vocabulary. Faith changes your posture. It lifts your head, strengthens your steps, and fills your eyes with light. People will notice something different in you. They may not know what changed, but you will. It's the quiet confidence of someone who knows their God hears, who knows that Saint Anthony's powerful Catholic miracle prayer was never in vain. Don't wait for signs, be the sign. Let your life be a testimony in motion. When others see you walk in peace despite the storm, they'll want to know why. That's when your story becomes someone else's invitation to pray. And Saint Anthony's work multiplies, not just in your life, but in the lives of everyone your faith touches. This fifth secret teaches us that faith walks ahead of proof. It doesn't need evidence to rejoice. It doesn't need confirmation to prepare. The miracle may not be fully visible, but it's already active. And you are the vessel through which it will appear. You are not waiting helplessly. You are participating. You are partnering. And when fear comes, because it will, remind it who walks with you. Say out loud, Saint Anthony is praying with me. Heaven is working for me. God's promise is bigger than my problem. Speak it until your fear forgets its name. Speak it until your soul remembers who you are. That's the kind of boldness that draws divine favor. Let each step you take now be a statement of faith. Let your routines reflect your prayers. Get dressed with purpose. Speak blessings over your home. Smile like the burden has already lifted. This is not foolishness, it is spiritual intelligence. It's the way of those who truly believe in the miracle prayer today. And when doubt whispers, what if nothing changes? And you answer, what if everything does? That's the power of hope. That's the fire Saint Anthony fans into flame when you pray. The miracle might come quietly, or it might burst in like thunder. Either way, your walk of faith prepares the ground. Because now that you've received all 5 secrets, something sacred is about to be released. And what comes next isn't just a prayer. It's a blessing designed to seal the miracle you've been walking toward all along. Final blessing. May your soul be wrapped tonight in the arms of Saint Anthony's intercession, where every unspoken prayer is heard and held in heaven's hands. May the silence around you not be a sign of absence, but the stillness before a miracle. God has seen your tears, felt your longing, and is already moving. The help you need is on the way. Rest in this peace. May your heart be strengthened with divine courage, the kind that stands firm even when the answer hasn't yet arrived. May Saint Anthony remind you that your cries have reached the ears of a faithful God. What you've surrendered will not return empty. What you've prayed will not be wasted. Trust that a response is already unfolding. May every financial burden begin to shift under the weight of heavenly provision. Saint Anthony, helper of the poor and protector of the struggling, has not forgotten you. The doors that were closed will begin to creak open. Solutions will rise from unexpected places. What seemed impossible will become your testimony. May your home be filled with restoration. May fractured relationships find healing, and long-awaited reconciliations blossom with grace. The prayer to Saint Anthony for family restoration is working beyond what you can see. Forgiveness is growing. Love is returning. Harmony is being rebuilt, one prayer at a time. May your body be renewed from the inside out. If sickness has lingered, let it be driven out by the healing presence of God, delivered through Saint Anthony's compassionate hands. May your cells respond to divine order. May fatigue give way to strength. May your health be restored and protected from this day forward. May your mind be flooded with peace that surpasses understanding. Let every anxious thought be replaced with stillness. Let confusion bow to clarity. May Saint Anthony guide your thoughts away from fear and toward faith. You do not walk alone. You walk with angels at your side and heaven ahead of you. May every lost opportunity begin to circle back in surprising ways. May what was stolen from you be returned sevenfold. Saint Anthony's power to find what is lost applies to more than objects. It restores dreams, dignity, direction. What you thought was over is only beginning again, through grace. May your nights no longer be haunted by worry, but healed by worship. As you lay your head to rest, may angels guard your room. May Saint Anthony stand watch beside you, keeping despair away and ushering peace in. Sleep tonight in holy confidence that God is not just with you, He is for you. May your prayers continue working even after you say Amen. Heaven is timeless. Your faith has released a chain of events in the spiritual realm that will not return void. Trust in the delays. Rejoice in the process. Saint Anthony is still praying for you long after this video ends. May you recognize the signs of God's favor as they appear. A timely message, a gentle confirmation, a breakthrough that feels sudden. They are not coincidences. They are evidence. Each one is a reminder that Saint Anthony's miraculous prayer is bearing fruit in your life. May your faith grow roots so deep that no storm can shake you again. May you become the kind of person others look to for hope, not because your life is perfect, but because your trust is unshakable. Saint Anthony has walked you this far, and he will keep walking with you. May this night be remembered as the night everything began to change. Not because you earned a miracle, but because you believed in one. From this moment on, walk in victory, pray in power, and live in peace. Your miracle has already begun, and this journey is just beginning. What if tonight was your turning point, and you didn't even realize it? What if your miracle has already begun, and all that's left is to walk it out in faith? Which secret touched your heart the most? And why do you think that is? Are you willing to live as if Saint Anthony's prayer is already being answered? Will you allow this prayer to change the way you see loss, timing, and trust? Could it be that everything you've been waiting for has been waiting on you to surrender, to believe, to walk forward? Because one thing is certain, After a prayer like this, you'll never be the same again. If this prayer blessed your heart, like this video now to seal your agreement in faith. Each click is more than a gesture. It's a testimony. It shows that you believe Saint Anthony is already at work in your story. Let this be your first act of gratitude for the miracle on its way. Show heaven you're ready. Leave a comment below and write Amen if you believe this prayer was meant for you. Your Amen could be the very encouragement someone else is praying for. We read every comment and we pray with you. Let your words be a spark of hope in someone else's darkness. This is how we build a family of faith. Share this video with someone you know who needs a miracle. Someone is silently suffering, waiting for a breakthrough, and your share might be the exact moment heaven touches their life. Don't keep this blessing to yourself. Let's flood the world with the hope Saint Anthony brings. And if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, join a community that believes in the power of prayer, in the God of the impossible, and in saints like Saint Anthony who still walk with us. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next miracle. And remember, this is just the beginning.